So much for the same order.
It's okay. We start with a giggle. That's all right. How are y'all doing today?
Awesome.
Good. All right. Well, how is everybody over there in the chatter box? We hope you guys are all doing well. It's another Wednesday, another week, and it's actually, I'd say, the last week in the month of July. So, okay, let's put it out with a bang. But anyway, we want to thank all of y'all for being here. We truly appreciate you. And hey, we got another exciting show for you. So, as you know, here we are three women that dive in to discuss, debate, and just explore a variety of different topics. And then we'll do interviews as well with other channels and just bring to you different things, throughout the week. So thank you for being with us as always. And remember, as you socialize down there in the chatter box, that us, the creators of Let's Talk About It Live, want to challenge you to rise by lifting others and spreading kindness. And with that said, I'm Theresa with Meant to Be RVing, and to my right,
I'm BB with Beyond Beauty 3, and this is
Nettie from Al Nettie Living Free Zipcoless. Right.
I know. Oh, she's not to my right. She's above me.
That's okay.
And should I take a minute and welcome everyone in the chatter box over here?
That would be awesome.
All right. We have Van Life with Gina Payne, Brianna Elizabeth, Meant to Be. Hello, welcome. Lynn the Okie, Bob's Adventure, Uncle Lisa's Productions, RV Traveling MIA Researcher, a little bit crazy. We have Uncle Lisa's Productions, Happy Place Camping, Van Life Rocks, Thrifty Angela, Happy Place Camping, might have said that already, I'm sorry, Avenger RV Adventure, RV Weekends, did I say that? Might have. Our Destinations, and I think I have everybody. If I've missed you, I apologize. It is hard to keep up with everybody over in the chatter box. Back to you, Meant to Be.
All right. Well, welcome. I think it's time to welcome our guests, because tonight we have Ben and Rebecca with Traveling Sellvation, and it's their goal and their passion to help others during the wait a minute. hey, but it's their goal actually during their RV renovation to process and provide maintenance and renovation tips to others. So this is a couple that has done just that, and they're also buying and selling. So we want to hear more about that, and maybe we can learn something from them. And did I say they're trying to do all this while remaining debt-free?
Yeah.
That is awesome. Let's bring up Ben and Rebecca.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Y'all look like the Brady Bunch opening up, all looking at each other and pointing and stuff.
Just a little tongue-tied tonight.
Had a little glitch, but that's okay. That's what happens live.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite place you've gone so far?
We actually, we love Stone Mountain. I don't know about for you, but
I like the beach, Tybee Island.
So we'll probably have to buy two campers so she can go to the beach and I have to go. We just pass back and forth. But Tybee Island is a favorite. We go there quite a bit.
Yeah.
We just made a video about one time going there because a lot of large RV channels we see never have been there, and a lot of people have never even heard of Tybee Island. But I would, Tybee Island and Stone Mountain would probably be a close first and second, and teeter back and forth for me too.
Now, what was on that big, huge pizza that you all had at the island?
It was called what was it called? Omnivore.
She
It had
like
veggies and
she likes pineapple and ham, which I do too, but I don't like but maybe 1 or 2 pieces. Half of it was basically a supreme, half of it was a pineapple and ham. And I ate most of all both.
Maybe before we get started, do we do we want to remind that the chat that if they have any questions to be sure and put them in the chat, and Phoebe, you'll be looking for those as well?
Yes.
Help bring those up. Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's get on with the interview. This is going to be fun.
Did Robot just call us barbarians again, or somebody?
Uncle Lisa.
Uncle Lisa. That is funny. They've been picking on us ever since we did BB3's Nightbot attacked us. Attacked us.
Were you victim?
Brutal attack.
Yeah,
we were the first victim. Yes, it was like extremely shocking too, because at first we thought it was just a moderator. No, we were the first victims of it, so it hadn't happened yet. So we were like, "What? Who says barbaric, anyways?"
We ended up in that dark, scary place, and then you come back.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we were timed out, and it was like, "Really, first time out?"
Yeah. Then I had to go in and time out the Nightbot because I was so angry.
It was fun though, because after that it went on a tirade of just like slaying everybody. You're out too, and you're out, and you're out. I don't like your name.
What I want to know, Ben and Rebecca, is your story on why you went full time.
Well, basically, I think for the same reason everybody goes full time. We actually owned a real estate company where we helped people take tax credit property. Say they had a historic building in a downtown area, we would help them take that, get tax credits for it, because the government was giving tax credits for about 50% that time. So if you spend $1 million, sometimes 100%, you spend $1 million, you get $1 million back. We would help them apply for those taxes, renovate the building, and whether it was a bar or an apartment or a building or whatever, we'd help them fill it. Then we would actually sell the management company to them. So we were doing really, really well with that, but it was, and we were living in that downtown area right on Main Street, and in one of the great apartments that we had redone, really hip, rustic type, you've seen them, the historic type things that they were doing. It was awesome, but it was just brutally, horridly, cruddily boring. And I mean,
we didn't have time to do what we do now. We didn't have time to go places and travel and have fun. It was just that. We
seriously were paying for a car that was sitting there all day empty, that wasn't being used while we were 2 cars, an apartment that was very expensive for the place it was in. So we weren't even putting equity into a home. We were just blowing money on this apartment that we weren't in for 9, 12 hours a day. So we were at work 6 days a week, a lot of time working for this company. And we were like, man, we're going to be 60 and we're going to have this money, but we're going to be able to buy a yacht and die on it, 20 years later or 30 years later. We're not, and if that, because we're still going to be working, we're 65, 70 and going on and on. And by the time, what's the point? Really, I've heard people say that when they're on their deathbed, that the only thing they regret is not doing more stuff or getting more life experiences. And the material things were, and I saw myself doing that. I would buy say a BMW, and it would 5, 6 years would go by. It'd be worth nothing. It would be this awesome thing when you first bought it, but then 5, 6, 7 years would go by and it was just another used car. And everything tended to be like that. And it was a mundane, boring life. And we kind of really didn't mean to get into redoing a camper and traveling around. We were just going to buy a piece of land and do more of a homesteading thing. So we bought a camper to do that. And then when I don't know if you guys saw the renovation, saw it, but so we did that and we were like, man, this thing is awesome. We kept putting money into it more than we wanted to, because we saw people on YouTube. We're like, man, we could travel around while we're building our homestead house. We can have this park. And if we want to go to Tybee Island, we get up and go to Tybee Island or wherever. And eventually that turned into being like, we put a lot more into this than we thought. And why don't we just travel for a few years?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And this all started last year. When did you get the rig? I know your YouTube channel says 2019, but as far as actually purchasing the rig and getting it renovated, when did that all start?
Was it like
just about
2018?
Yeah, late 20. We were just going into Christmas of 19 when you can see in some of those renovation videos, there's a little Christmas tree sitting over there. So we redid the inside from the early 90s flower stuff.
Yeah,
got it done, and then we're living in it while we were redoing the outside. And we spent Christmas in there and all that. So about a year ago is when we got all of it. We pretty much got it and started. And I could see the look on her face when I'd come driving up in this 40-foot thing. I mean, it had dents all in it. The doors, the compartment doors had holes in it. You know, like on grease when the wheels are spinning and it goes down the side of that guy's car. That's what the side of this motorhome looked like. So it was just really rough. And I was like, just bear with me. It's all up here. I can see it.
So how do you make a living while traveling?
I didn't get what to say. I'm sorry.
So how do you make a living? How do you pay for traveling?
That's another thing we saw on YouTube. And we kind of saw both a little bit at the same time. When we were looking at buying a camper to put on a piece of land, we were also looking at renovating. We started off, we was like, man, we're going to go get a $3,000 camper and renovate it. And then we went and looked at a few $3,000 campers and we was like, whoa. So we got to step it up like triple that at least. Yeah. But so at the same time we're watching that, we're seeing people buy and sell stuff on eBay. And we first started seeing people do Amazon, FBA, where they just send all their stuff to Amazon and they sell it for them. But this is something I kind of done all my life. My grandfather was a horse trader, buying and selling First Amendment stuff, and he did just whatever. He was coming up through the Depression. He was in 2 wars, that kind of guy. You know, they buy, they trade, everything. So that was something I'd done all my life. I saw people doing it online on YouTube, and I was like, oh, these guys are actually buying crap and selling it, you know, like junk. And I see way better junk than they see.
And when we saw that and noticed you can actually sell stuff like that, we started selling our stuff that we had, like dishes, pots, pans, everything we could get rid of.
Stuff that, I mean, you wouldn't believe what actually sells online. I mean, things that you would never think. Like, take for instance, T-shirts from the 1990s. You would think a T-shirt, let's say I don't know, a Beatles T-shirt from 1965. Of course, you think that's very expensive, worth a lot of money, but you wouldn't know that a Corn shirt from 1998 is a $150 shirt now. Vintage T-shirts are worth a fortune. A band T-shirt, if you've got a band T-shirt from 1995, an Allman Brothers band or something like that, you're sitting on a $100 T-shirt.
Well, I heard the blue jeans, like jeans.
They're ridiculous. Those are extremely hard to find, like Levi's and stuff like that. Especially when you get real old, back into the 50s, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's amazing. And you wouldn't believe the array of stuff. And a lot of people ask us, like, what do you sell? And it's pretty much anything that makes us money. We go everywhere, to yard sales, estate sales, Goodwills, any private thrift store has been doing really good at private thrift stores lately. And if you've got a good eye just for quality stuff, I mean, Nike Air Max, I mean, they resell for like $60. You can pick them up for $2 or $3 in a thrift store. Yeah. And basically the numbers, I don't want to bore anybody, but let's say 100 items, for every 100 items that you list and if you look at some of our videos, you can see how to filter items to see what sells and doesn't sell. If you do that and each of those 100 items are something that does or doesn't sell, you're going to get 1 sale a day. So you have 1,000 things, you're going to get 10 sales a day. I'd say 100 sales brings us in, 100 items brings us in about $1,000 a month. So 10,000 items, you do the math. And people are like, where do you put all this stuff? We can fit 100 things under our bed.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. I didn't know if you had like a cargo trailer that you had behind your rig, or if you're pulling a vehicle, if you're flat towing, or where you're storing your merchandise, like in the basement. I have a Class A as well, so I was just wondering that where you actually stored your items.
Well, then that we do have to be careful with, the stuff that we bring in and the stuff that we keep and the extra. A lot of people have grills and chairs and all that. We don't have that luxury. That's one of the things we can't do. We can't keep all this extra camping stuff that a lot of other people do because we need it for inventory space.
You can't have a black stone? You have no place for it.
I can't. I would probably strap it on the bumper if somebody gave it to me. One, I don't know. I always wonder, like, what do people do with these things? But I'll tell you, no offense to anybody, but that's one way the difference between a full timer and not a full timer is like the people who don't full time. They'll come to a campground and they'll have this griddle that's like 7 foot long and a tent out and 50 chairs and all that, and I'm like, son, I would not want to be you on setup and breakdown day. So those are definitely the people that are weekend warriors, and the people like us are like, okay, 2 chairs, go outside. Yeah. We got a TV. That's it.
And a small little grill.
Yeah, a grill this big, and that's it.
Do you have a curler dog or a slot dog?
We want a curler dog, man. That's how we saw Daydream About Nice Thing was that slot dog video. And we'd seen it actually on the Crazy Russian Hacker. We'd seen it first, the curler dog and the slot dog. But Gary made it look so much better. And he was talking about smoking it on the Traeger grill. And I was like, man, I bet it really would go in there. And he was stirring it around. I love it.
I have the curler dog. And oh my God, I can eat it like him every day. And it's unbelievable.
Just imagine, because you put stuff in it and it just mixes with the hot dog and stuff. You could put chili and all that. And it's not, man, that's got to be the best thing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Better yet, can you imagine using the curler dog on a Vienna sausage?
Oh man, don't get me started on Vienna sausages.
I know, I've seen your video. That's crack.
Smoked Vienna sausages. That's our go-to. If like the end of the world comes, we would have like pallets of Vienna sausages probably. That and crackers.
They have a video and they have their Vienna sausages in the cup holder of one of their floating rafts. And then he keeps talking about the different things that you can do with the Vienna sausages. It keeps cutting back to him.
It's just like Forrest Gump. You can go on and on. Yeah. I mean, Vienna sausage sandwich,
you can make them like corn dogs.
You can put Vienna sausages on a stick and deep fry them.
Yeah.
I mean, deviled Vienna sausages. You could just
double shrimp, huh? You keep going.
It never ends, just for sure.
That's funny.
That's cool.
It's pate. It's just pate in the form of a weenie.
I want to ask though, do you like Spam also?
I haven't had Spam in a long time.
I've never had Spam.
I hadn't had it since I was really, really young. And and it was good back then because you could fry Spam, put it on a sandwich. You'd eat anything when you're a growing kid. Anything on white bread is good. I grew up in Georgia, so anything on white bread is good. But when I got a little older, I think I bought a can of Spam, and I was like, what was I thinking?
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
So your rig is actually over 20 years old. Do you have problems getting into parks or with the age?
Not yet. I mean, we hadn't been to a park in Beverly Hills or anything, but the paint job does make it look a little newer. However, we hadn't had anybody say a word to us about it. It's 22 now. I think it's a 99, so it's 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 21. And it's been a great motorhome. We heard of people not being able to get in the park for like schoolies, camper, what are the van life type things.
Mm-hmm.
But we mostly stay in state parks and KOAs. Yeah. We are kind of glampers. There are very few times in Georgia that you can boondock. There's not a lot of free camping in Georgia, and we mainly stay in the Southeast now. We get up into the mountains. We go down to, get into Florida a little bit, and we get into Alabama and North Carolina or South Carolina and stuff. But we really do want to head west. This just isn't the best time for it. And this was actually the year we were planning to be like, okay, we're heading out.
Yeah.
And it's like, so
the cool kids will be meeting in Quartzsite in January.
No, we keep hearing we want to go, so we may actually start heading that way. We've never, I've never been farther than Louisiana. I think you've never been further than Louisiana, and we definitely it's on our bucket list, and that is a place we could actually boondock at, but that's not even 1,000 trails in Georgia. Not one single 1,000 trails in Georgia.
Nope.
It's insane. I don't know what we got. What do we chopped liver or something?
I know,
right? Now, in your video, fried green tomatoes, how cool you went and visited the town where the movie Fried Green Tomatoes was. Totally awesome. Everybody check that out. Too bad the town was shut down. That stinks. But you also show everybody how to kind of sell stuff on eBay. What made you decide to share that with everyone? Because a lot of the time people kind of hold back and don't share their secrets. And I think it's really cool that you're sharing those secrets with everybody. What made you decide to do that?
When we were thinking of getting, it sounds like, okay, you sold your real estate company, you're rich. You know, we're not rich. We did get that's another thing. Don't think that we just sold everything, jumped into a motorhome, was like rock and roll and can just started selling on eBay. We had a year's pay in the bank before we started doing this, and a renovated motorhome that was fully paid for. And we had gotten debt free before we set off on this journey. So I don't want to think that I want anybody to think we're trying to mislead them into thinking, we just dropped everything and did this, because we really did prepare. But what made us decide to share it with everybody, because when we were watching people in RVs. We started watching Adam DeWoo like a lot of people did. And then we started seeing people renovate RVs. I'd sold RVs for a long time when I was in college. And I saw them doing it. I was like, man, how did they do that? They either have a pension or they're retired. There's no. I know campgrounds cost $30, $40, $50. And campgrounds aren't free. Gas isn't free. You're not just going to park this thing. People even that have land are going to be like, man, I want something to let, to stay there. So I was like, how are they doing this? And we couldn't find anybody that weren't YouTube stars. They were basically like, okay, I've got 20, 30,000 subscribers now, and I've got $1,200, $1,500 at least. Or some people, of course, that you've seen have 200,000 subscribers and have all this money coming in. We didn't see a single person that would share. Actually, we did see some people saying, we're ad agents or we trade in the stock market, or I don't know if they're telling the truth or not, but we didn't see anybody that showed how to. And when we saw this, we actually are the first people we've seen it mixed together. Since then, we've found people that do this. And of course, you've seen American Pickers and stuff like that. We're not quite the same, because we'll buy a pair of Nikes. We're not just into antiques, which we are big into antiques, but we wanted to show people, not only people that wanted to RV, but people that were just in financial in need. You know what I mean? Sometimes people only need $100 more to make their life less stressful.
And they'll have something just sitting in their house they can sell and get that $100 for, and they don't even know it.
Or they'll have a Goodwill that's 100 yards from their house or 2 miles from their house that they can go to buy something for $8 and sell it for $100. Do that 3 times a month and make $300 extra a month. And that was the difference between them stressing out and not stressing out to get their car payment paid or get groceries or get their kids' school supplies or whatever. Sometimes it's not the difference between completely replacing your income or renovating an RV. Sometimes as little as just a few extra $100 a month. And if we can help those people or the people that want to replace their income or anybody in between, man, that would just mean the world to us. It really would. And it's so simple. There's room for more. It's no secret to share. Yeah. There's plenty of room for people to buy stuff and sell on eBay.
And there's people out there selling programs that teach you how to do it.
Yeah, we see people on YouTube like that want you to be there's a little tab on YouTube where you can be like a member or something like that, I guess, and pay. And then they give them like courses to sell on eBay. And I'm like, it's not that hard. Basically, you buy something for really cheap and you sell it for more than what you pay for it. But before you buy it, you look it up and make sure it sells on eBay. I mean, don't go pay somebody $500 or $1,000 for a program when you could watch like 3 or 4 videos and be like, I got this now. And, you know, start developing an eye for quality stuff, or just things like you know that let's say, you know, that a KitchenAid mixer is a very expensive kitchen item. And it's a no-brainer that if you go into a Goodwill and see one for $9, that you can go on eBay and sell it for $100 or $150 because they cost $300 new. It just doesn't take, you know, it's not, you don't need to buy a program to figure that out. But sometimes a lot of people don't realize that you can find these things at yard sales. And that's really what we kind of want to lead people to, and show them that it adds up. If you do it 10 times, you got $1,000 if you made $100.
Yeah, you even showed how to look it up.
How to filter it out.
That's on that fried green tomato video also. You showed how to look it up when you're at the store so you don't buy things that aren't going to sell, which I thought was really, really cool. And we do have a question for you over here in the chatter box. The question is from Lynn the Okie. Where is he originally from?
Macon, Georgia. The heart of Georgia is what they call it. Dead center of Macon. Dead center of Georgia. Macon, Georgia.
Yeah.
And we
actually, little Richard worked for my grandmother in a grocery store delivering groceries back in the 40s.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Nice. Tell us about this inflatable kayak.
This thing is awesome.
So awesome.
So we were looking at, we're in a motorhome full time, obviously, and we can't haul around these huge plastic kayaks. So obviously the other option are these inflatable kayaks. We looked them up about a year ago and it's like fair price. We can buy one of those, but we waited a year.
Yeah.
And now a pool float that's shaped like a kayak, I guess because of everything that's going on, everybody's buying them, the popularity of kayaks. But literally a pool float that looks like a kayak is like $200 and something. And then an actual inflatable kayak that's hard and rigid and made of this new inflatable material they make stuff out of is like pushing $1,000. And then you got to buy the paddles and extra stuff for it. So it gets to be really expensive. And then if you do that twice, I did graduate from college, but that's $2,000, which is insane to me to fly. I will carve like an Indian a canoe out of a pine tree before I will do that. But nonetheless, we kept researching, and I've seen these before, but years ago, like when I was really into fishing and outdoors stuff, I saw like in the Cabela books these little pontoon boats that fishermen would use. And back then, you actually sat in them and your feet hung in the water and you had flippers and you just flip around like a duck. But yeah, it's really weird. But we ended up just kind of researching it and just found these things, looking at pontoons and different things. And it ended up being this awesome, it's like a pontoon boat. It's basically just a little frame that's like 48 inches wide by 48 inches long with a fishing, like a folding chair on it, but you inflate a pontoon on each side and strap it to it, and you're bound. You got your sea legs, man. You're in there. So it's awesome. So we can store it and move around with it.
And it comes apart really easy, but I don't think we're going to have to take it apart.
We can just sit it inside when we travel. And the pontoons, we already had a bag that we were selling on eBay, a Sea-Doo bag that we can put all the inflatable pontoons in. And it's just super awesome. We tested them out, did a video on it and did a review on it, went up and down the river, went through a lightning storm, went up the current, down the current, sun came out. Over rocks, through trees, and they barely had a scratch on them. So we gave them a thumbs up. We're not going to make you watch the video if you don't have to. It's pretty obvious, I guess. But these things really were awesome.
We have a question for you. Okay, in our destinations, where can I get those glorious hats?
I knew he was about to say something about this hat. Look here. I don't just buy hats randomly, Kyle. I don't just run around picking up every hat I see and put it on my head. I go through thousands of hats before I finally see one and find it. And a lot of times I rescue it from devastation or a mad person like you buying it and letting your wife put it in a suitcase and crumpling it up. So
I've seen you tell him that you could save his hat and fix
I can save it. Can't I, Rebecca?
Yeah,
I save hats.
He can.
I'm the hat saver.
I don't know how. He just has mad skills with it. So
yeah,
you got to reform them. You got to steam them. I don't know if you've ever seen them do cowboy hats where they actually shape them and steam them, but that's kind of what I do with hats.
So, meant to be and Nettie, do we want to play that game now? Do we want to?
Yeah.
Play a little game right now. So we have a little game to play based off of some of the things that you've listed or shown in your videos. I thought we'd have the audience guess how much those items are worth or how much they would sell them for. And then I'd have you do the same.
Yeah.
And then I will tell you what I found the listing price for. You're probably better at listing them than me, but so I am going.
I preach that. Look everything up. We still look everything up. But when I don't, every single time I buy something stupid, I just bought a Lionel train for $40. You know how much it was worth?
$40.
And there was a piece of track missing. So even when you do it for a living, you still mess up times. And sometimes look everything up.
All right. So we're going to let the audience guess first. Everybody in the chatter box guess how much this item would be worth. And this is Sony wireless headset sound.
This was a good buy. Man, I bought a handful of headphones when I did this. This was an awesome buy.
They're you can't hear. What is that when you can't hear outside sound? Noise
cancellation.
Yeah.
Noise cancellation.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh, and we have a question for you while we're waiting, which is from Lynn the Okie. How did they meet?
It's interesting because I was walking down the road wearing a zoot suit, swinging a watch. And Rebecca came flying across, with her eyes with hearts like pounding out of them. I was like, whoa. I don't know if she's got a different version of what happened, but that's kind of the way I remember it.
Kind of like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
That was Roger Rabbit, wasn't it? Okay, so I'll come up with another lie. No, she was actually managing the ice cream store under
his apartment.
My apartment, and the ice cream store was a property that I was managing, and that one that I'd redone, and I went and bought a lot of ice cream.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and I just kept buying ice cream until we started Facebook talking, and she came over, and she never left.
Yeah, I never left.
Oh. All right, so we have some guesses. We have 29, 12, 60, 60, 32, 50, 20, 150, 150.
So got some good ones.
We have 100, 40, and 35.
I actually got the right price on these.
It looks
there were
like
some other ones that I really messed myself up on, and I sold them for like $30, and I looked at them again, and I was like, what was I doing? This was $150. Smack. But I got the right price on these. I know what these are.
So what would you guess your price?
Me, us?
Yes.
Those, I think, for $49.99.
$49.99. Let's
somewhere
see.
in the 50 range.
Come on, go
I think
big.
I paid $5 for them.
These are $99.95.
I should have got more. These could probably set on them for a little while. Is that new? That's new,
And
or
it's
is that
free shipping?
Yeah, it's free shipping, so you'd have to pay about $8 for shipping. And if those are new, that's you'll get a little bit more for them. Ours were used.
I think
so
these might be brand new. This set
yeah. Man, you can't go wrong with Sony. If you're picking, always look up Sony. I literally sold just a Sony radio, just like this big, for like $25 the other day. I bought it for $3, just a radio with an antenna. But if it's Sony, always look that up.
All right, I have a couple of different prices on these, but I don't have the picture with the price for these.
Be careful with these people. These are faked really, really good now. And if you don't know your Jordans or your shoes, if you don't know how far apart the stitching is what I'm talking about, and the angle of the stitching, don't even mess with them, because you will try to sell them and they will ban you from your platform.
Wish I could
These are tough.
Oh.
The regular Nikes, the more ugly and gaudy and big they are, the more they're worth.
All right. So what do you, everyone in the audience, guess on this one? Santa Cruz says $250. Uncle Lisa says $199. Fordman, aka, says, "Wow, that is expensive." I have a special one that I have saved for you in my pictures, by the way.
Those are probably about $250 new, I would say. And used, you can probably get $100 or $80 to $120 on those, depending on the condition they're in. But again, you can really get burned on those. So look for the stitching.
Mr. Bree said, fake. Okay, $80.
$80, yeah.
The real thing or the fakes?
The fakes you can get new for $80. I don't know, some of the fakes, man, you just don't know. This one was a bad buy.
This one's special.
That's wrong with me, man. Let me tell you what I did with this one. This is a perfect example of look everything up and pay more attention. So I've looked at this and I knew these toys. You would not believe how much these toys go for. If you got a plastic Beyblade toy, $190, $200, $400, depending on what it is. So I was like, it was new and wrapped in the sealed. I was like, man, I'm gonna get 20, 30, 50, maybe $80.
They don't even go.
The sky's the limit.
Like $5.
Man, it was like $3, and there were 1,000 of them on eBay. So I picked it up without looking at it, associating it with the actual toys themselves, and it's a DVD that I will never, ever, ever get rid of. But we do make ourselves keep it until we get rid of it to remind us not to buy crap that we don't look up.
So people are guessing over here that this one's $12, $75, $8. Did you say how much this one ended up?
I will sell it to any of them for any of those prices.
Right now for any of those.
Free shipping, yeah. Made a mistake on that one.
How much did this one end up being?
I don't know. What do we have it listed for? Like $9.99 or $11.99. We still have it. That one was just terrible. We'll sell it in a year maybe. But everything does sell on eBay. We may have to lower the price, but we don't really like to do that because we don't have the storage. We don't have the luxury of all that storage space. We do have a lot. As Nettie knows, you got a motorhome. You could actually, that if you had empty storage compartments, you could pull up to somebody's 10 by 10 shed, load everything up and leave, and you wouldn't have anything in your living space. Right. So that's kind of how we are right now. All of our compartments are full of inventory, but our living space stays pretty clear of it. But we can't carry around all this other camping stuff. We are pretty bare bones.
Gotcha.
Somebody's asking me on the shoes. On the shoes, I forgot to load it to the correct picture, and I have them listed at $110. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, we really I do a lot of Nike shoes, but Jordans I really don't mess with them because they're faked so much, and they've gotten so good with them that you literally have to look at the stitching in them and see that each stitch is a perfect size as every other stitch in that shoe. And then even then, if you're wrong, you'll get banned from the forum you're on. And if that's how you make your living, it's just not worth it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's Jordans we kind of specifically don't do.
Yeah,
we're just saying that with purses too.
Yeah, like Louis Vuitton, or I don't know if I said that name right, but they have the same thing where they're not real. I see those.
Yeah, it's tough, and they're faked really good, really well now.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what was the name of the falls? I looked at the video and I remember your Flintstone joke, which was hilarious, by the way, when you went to the falls. I love it how you put little jokes just like slyly into your videos. It cracks me up. But what was the name of the falls you went to recently, or in one of your videos?
Tallulah Falls.
Yeah.
It was actually a lot bigger than it looked. When I went there when I was younger, and all those trees weren't as grown over, and you could see way up the falls. But when we got there, it was difficult to see, and if you'd have to look really hard on camera to see how much further they go up. And of course, you never can capture on camera what you actually see. And we've heard Traveling Robert be like, man, he's at the Grand Canyon, and be like, you guys just don't understand. You can't see on camera what I'm looking at. And that's kind of how it is at Tallulah Falls.
Now, in one of those, you talked about, or in that video, you talked about the history a little bit, and how there was an Indian mound that someone cut the top off of and put a gazebo on.
Gazebo on top of, man. I mean, I've known a lot of rednecks in my time. But this dude, I mean, he was like a Civil War captain or something too, and he's actually a general, but he liked to be called captain. I was like, shit, captain's a great name, you know. I kind of like captain too, but nonetheless, this guy bought an Indian mound, and I've tried to get. We didn't take a video of it when we rode by. We didn't really think it was significant. It looked like a landfill.
Yeah. And there was a bunch of cows out there.
And gazebo. But then we were also afraid of putting a picture online for copyright purposes. But we really wish we could have taken a picture of it. It's a ginormous picture of Indian ritual mound cut off, you know, just at the base of it, and a gazebo the same side of it in the middle of a huge field. I'm speechless. It's not very beautiful either. It looks like it was just built, but it was actually built in, I don't know, the 1800s or something. But it's it's terrible looking, honestly.
Go by it often, or is it centrally located to where you're at or anything?
What is that? Tallulah Falls?
Yeah.
It's actually north of us in Helen. Was it in Helen, Georgia, or? I think it's in Helen, Georgia.
No, it's
that was Anna Ruby Falls.
Yeah, that's Anna Ruby Falls.
It's in
paranormal investigation there.
No kidding. I would imagine there's not a lot of happy Indians there, or either that they love their new gazebo, one or the other. I don't know, but I could imagine, you know, to ride by it, we were just like, what in the world is that, and why is it sitting out? It's not just on an Indian mound. It's out in the middle of this huge field, vast field with mountains behind it. And I guess you hear Indian mound with a gazebo on it. You're like, oh, that's beautiful. It's just very ugly. It's very ugly.
So Timmy Ray is saying, please tell them that my dad met Little Richard at an Elvis Presley concert in Las Vegas in the 70s. He met Little Richard, Elvis Presley, and Jerry Reed, and Bert of the movie Smokey and the Bandit.
I got to watch Deliverance with Burt Reynolds, believe it or not. And I made him extremely mad, actually, because I asked him, I said, what movie did you wish you would have starred in that they asked you to that you didn't? And immediately, before I even got it out of my mouth, he was like cussing. And I was like, man, my hero, Bandit's mad at me, you know? And he's like, what'd he say? Terms of endearment. I was like, I made Stroke Race, and he was in love, I guess, with Sally Fields or whoever starred in it, and it went on to win an Emmy, and he never got to win it. But man, I hit a nerve with the Bandit. I really struck a nerve with the Bandit.
Do you post other people's stuff for a percentage?
I mean, I don't even know what that means exactly.
I think maybe on
like,
eBay or something.
Oh no, like consignment, we hadn't. And I honestly, I don't think I'd want to because we don't have the storage space. And unless it was a really big consignment deal, like a presidential Rolex watch or something like that, where I was just going to hold on to it and sell it and get a big amount off of it. I don't want. We can't haul people's stuff around and sell it for a percentage. And we really don't have any reason to, but we do know some people who do consignments.
KNR wants to know, what's the best month you've had in sales?
I don't think we've ever had over a $5,000 month. And that's another thing about what we do. We make about probably a third of what we used to make, but we don't have any stress. We don't have any bills, and we've got a lot of life experience. We got more life experience in a year. And great life experience, seeing stuff, being on the road, not having to wake up and be here and be there and do this and live under some type of narcissistic client or something like that. So
probably less stressful.
We're more than positive that the money we're not making, we would have spent for the happiness that we've, I mean, how much would you pull out of your bank account for like really genuine happiness? How much would you write a check for every month? You write these big checks for your health insurance, your car payments, your house payments. How much would you pay to say, happy? I'm going to wake up tomorrow happy and not really have to worry about much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
See, K&R has down their quality of life. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah. It really is.
Yep.
No, we're definitely happy with the decision we've made. Some of our family sometimes thinks we're like, what? Why? Because I went to I went to college and I went to school in London at the University of Westminster, did all this stuff. And, I was probably only in the corporate life for about 10 years before I was like, man, I'm out of here. I've known gangsters that were not as horrible of people as I'm having to deal with in this life. So it's just, again, we get crazy questions, like where do you use the bathroom, or how do you cook food and stuff. Like, people don't really understand that RVs, a lot of people's motorhomes, RVs, we see people with fifth wheels and motorhomes, Prevosts and stuff like that are much nicer than most people's houses. And a lot of people
it's out of the norm, and they think, you need to grow up, get married, have the job, get the house, have kids. When you're out of the norm, it's hard for them to understand that you're actually living with less but gaining more, Yeah.
Well, honestly, and that's what I'm trying. Personally, me, and we've talked about this, we've tried to get out of, because we felt kind of lied to all of our life. We were told, you go to school, you get a job, you do this, and you get all this American dream and happiness. And, I'm sure that, no offense to the people that do, I'm sure there's people that love corporate life and they love their job. And but that's that kind of person. That's just not us and not me.
Depressing.
To us, it really is. And we feel like it's such a waste of life because it just runs by so quickly. I mean, I know from the time I started that company to the time I sold it, it was almost 10 years. And it was literally like going to sleep and waking up. And all that time had gone by, and I had more material stuff, but I had really not seen anything or done anything. I'd done more when I was in college, saw more, traveled more, experienced more. Yeah. And I'd done nothing in that 10 years except for make a handful of money and get a bunch of car payments and bills and stuff like that. I'd really accomplished nothing.
You weren't living life.
No living at all.
No.
It was working.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you guys.
Thanks. We are too. We really, it took a little while to get it really going. Actually, honestly, the first month that we were on eBay, we made $1,000 in the first month, and have gone up ever since. And if we worked a little harder, we could make more money on eBay. If we took less beach trips, if we took less hikes, if we sometimes didn't get started till 10 o'clock or stop early, if we did a little more, that's the cool thing about eBay. It really does pay. The harder you work, the more you put into it. If you're not in a motorhome and you've got a piece of property and you've got a building on it, the sky is the limit. You can make 10, 20, 50, you can make $50,000, $60,000 a month on eBay. And there's people doing it out there. They're mega stores. They do it all day and all night. And they've got people working for them. They got warehouses across the country, different ones that they ship out of. So that's what I mean when we say that we can help you renovate an RV or replace your income or anything in between. It really is like that. That's the cool thing about eBay is how much you want to put into it. Do you want to order pallets of stuff from China or whatever and sell that and make profit? How do you want to do it? You can treat it like a legitimate business and really, really make a ton of money. But if we're going to do that, then we've defeated the purpose of what we're doing anyways.
Exactly.
Now, I have to admit, we've had people on this here channel that I've asked, where do they go to the bathroom? How do they do
Sometimes
but it's interesting. Like, when somebody's living in a van and we just want to know, how's that work?
The van life, I'd be wondering too on some of them. We've actually really wanted to do a van really, really bad. When we first saw Bob's Adventure, I told Rebecca, I was like, man, I wonder where he's at. If he's close, I'm going to go try to help this dude redo his van, man. Cause I really, really wanted to, we wanted to do like we see Johnny's Journey, man. We want to do a Sprinter van really, really bad. And she's got an awesome start on it. She knows what she's doing. And I can't wait to see that end result of that. She knows.
How much do I get for this t-shirt?
That's priceless.
Right?
Johnny just happens to be my hero. So,
Yeah,
I mean, when we heard how much she works too, nursing that, YouTube, van build, do you know how much? I mean, you guys know how much work YouTube. I mean, you guys work probably twice as hard, 3 times, 10 times as hard as we do at it. But I mean, redoing a van, doing YouTube, and man, please, we don't work that hard. I'm sorry, if you watch our channel, don't mistake, we don't work that hard. That is a lot.
Did you see Lynn's question?
What?
Lynn has a question.
Susan answered it for her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Awesome. Good. Woo.
So,
Nettie, I got a question for you. Did I hear correctly when somebody said you drove a truck?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm an ex-truck driver, and my husband never thought he would ever marry a trucker.
That is funny. Yeah. How long did you do that? That is awesome.
About 3 years. I did about 3 years, but it was where it was team driving, so that truck never stopped. We drove it. We had to do a reset, and you never got good rest because the other person was bouncing around in the bed, and it's constantly going. And my husband actually just right now said he had a question about the paint job that you did, because of course our rig is also an older rig. It's a 2006, and we're wanting to do touch up on it because it's older and it needs it. It was in the sun always, never undercover. And just seeing your video on that was amazing, but it looked like it was a lot of hard work.
I would rather all 3 of y'all all get piñata bats and beat me for the rest of this video than get out there in that hot sun and take that thing off again. It was, I mean, I had visions like Jim Morrison when I was in that heat doing this. It was so hot outside. And I've never done anything like it either. I mean, of course, like I said in the video, I painted bicycles when I was a kid. We'd put little tape designs on it and paint it one color, put a little tape on it, spray over it again, pull the tape off, and whatever was under the tape would show, and it'd be a cool design. So when I saw motorhomes being painted, I knew that they basically did the same thing. It had to be done in stages. You had to have the one color, tape it off, block it, and that's basically what it is. It was very tedious and torturous. And those stripes that do all this, we based that off of a 2008 bounder. If you look at a 2008 bounder, it looks almost exactly like it.
Well, it turned out amazing.
It was just trial and error. I mean, I would stripe it off the shape I wanted, and I would have to stand back. And if a curve had a flat spot on it, or if it didn't look right, I'd have to pull it off and redo it again. And sometimes I did it, I don't know, 1,000 times before I would get one stripe right. And it was hot, and the tape kept melting off. It was really, really, it was really hard work.
How long did it take you to complete it?
How long do you think it took?
And you
2
were
weeks, maybe?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I think. And some of that, a lot of that was sanding. I think the majority of that was sanding, because it took a lot of sanding. You know, after we got the old decals off, which was a job, and then sanded it down, I think the actual striping and paint job, I don't know. I think I wanted to forget it so bad that it's hard to remember. It's like my mother told me childbirth one time was so painful that you can't remember. But that's kind of like how this motorhome was with the paint job. I think.
And you had to wait for the right weather. So once he started painting it, he had to paint it. Yeah,
the paint, when you buy that kind of paint, it has to be you have to buy the paint for a certain temperature and a certain humidity. So if you're painting in the winter, it has to be a certain kind of paint. If you're painting during the summer, it has to be a certain kind of paint. So I had an actual window that I had to do this in, like coming back in from the moon landing, like Apollo 13. It felt like I was on the sun. But I think I had like 100 hours in the striping and the painting itself, and it was a job indeed. And then when I got done, I had to do the roof, as you saw in the video, which I kind of completely forgot about, and looked really, really ugly. An old TPO roof looked horrible after you put a brand new paint job on an RV. Just as a forewarning, you just plan on doing the roof.
Yeah.
Well, we're at that 3-minute point. We have about 3 minutes left. Do we have any questions in the chatterbox?
We do. We have 2 questions real quick. We have one from K&R Destination. It says, what is next for you guys?
We are actually wondering right now. We waited to do this because we wanted to make sure we were in a good spot where a hot spot would work. And tomorrow we will be deciding whether to head up to the mountains or to the beach somewhere. We really don't know. Most of the time we go where the thrifting is good at and the inventory is good at, but because we kind of want to stay in Georgia right now because the state is a little more free with letting us move around and do the things we want to do. I think we're either going back to Tybee Island or we're going up to the mountains somewhere and just kind of docking there for a while. Yeah. But we do want to head out west. We want to go to DeSoto Park over there where Gary was at. We want to go to the Little Grand Canyon is right here beside us. So that's a lot of stuff we want to do in that area. But we're not sure. That's one of the cool things about doing what we do. We're not sure. It's kind of one of the uncool things too, because
you have to figure it out.
You got to figure out. You got to plan it. Like the 4th of July was hard on us. We waited too late, and we were moving every 2 days. Sometimes we had to move every day. The 4th of July, we spent 1 day at a KOA, and we were lucky to get that. We just waited way too late. So do kind of plan.
All right. And then the next question is, what would you all do different?
I would have stepped up. If I'd known we were going to go this far with a motorhome, I would have stepped up to a diesel pusher with another slide or a full slide out on the side. And before all this happened and RVs were really in high demand, right before this, you could get motorhomes for so cheap. I'm talking about you could get a 2000 or 1999 Fleetwood Expedition with slide outs diesel pusher for $34,000, $30,000, you know. And now with they're not manufacturing as many because factories are closed. The used RV market is blown up. We could actually make money off what we're in right now, but it's not really an option for us to go
Yeah.
get another one. And we really would like to. I think that's what we would have done different. Got a diesel pusher and went that route with it.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're out of time, and we just want to thank you guys for being here with us. I mean, from kayaks to renovations to selling your stuff to making money and being debt free. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, we had fun. We were so excited to do this.
It's been great, and it's so nice to get to know a little bit more about you. So, guys in the chatterbox, I hope you had fun and enjoyed this interview with them today. Everything we've sent out there, I think your Instagram, the links to your channel. So please go check this stuff out. I know you'll be glad you did. So again, thank you for joining us tonight, and we can't wait to follow along on your channel and hopefully meet you someday on the road while we're out there.
We appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right. And Nettie, who's our guest next week?
It's going to be the Traveling Larsens.
The Traveling Larsens.
Oh, we follow them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check back with us next week for the Traveling Larsens. And with that, I'm Mike. Well, hey.
There's hey, Mike. Where's Theresa?
I'm Theresa. But Mike and I with RVing, and we wish you all peace and happiness, and good night.
BB with Beyond Beauty 3, wishing you much kindness and much love.
Nettie from Mount Nettie Living Free, zip code list, and we're sending love your way.
Good night, all.